OK, let's go back to Craig Slater, who's watching the build-up to the fight on Saturday week. It's Valuev against Haye. Craig.
Thank you very much, and welcome back to David Haye's gym, where he's just got underway with his workout. We'll be following that live over the next few minutes, but alongside me to interpret events is Claude Abrams, editor of Boxing News. Claude, I know you go way back, you've seen all the great fighters work out. Do you still get a little thrill when you come to the gymnasium before a big fight to see a truly world-class guy go through his paces?
Sometimes often it depends on what stage of the preparation you're catching them. And right now, I think, you're sort of seeing a fighter tapering down his training. All the hard stuff's been done, so you're not likely to see anything really out of the ordinary in his training at this stage. But, yeah, of course, when you see a master at work, it's always exciting, yeah.
Well, let's take a look at that then. If we just spin round, we can see David Haye just doing a little bit of shadow boxing, just loosening up. But looking at footwork, first of all, for this fight, Claude, you sense that's going to be a real key area in terms of David's strategy, because he's got to get inside that 86-inch reach of Valuev. Do you sense he's got the speed, certainly? Has he got the sort of cunning to be able to get inside that reach and do his work and get out again quickly?
Well, I think for starters, he was a cruiserweight, which makes him is obviously the lighter man, the naturally lighter man. As a cruiserweight, he was pretty good on his feet. As an amateur, as a light heavyweight, he was good on his feet. So he's got that technical ability. He's got good feet. He's got good movement. And in this fight, he's got to make that work to his advantage, because it would be insane for him to stand with a man of Valuev's size and try and outmuscle him. So that you'd think logically his tactics are all got to be about speed. It's got to be about movement. It's got to be making the bigger man miss and then making him pay afterwards.
So we saw Evander Holyfield circle the ring clockwise, then go back anti-clockwise to keep Valuev thinking, keep him setting his feet. As long as he's just setting his feet, he can't punch.
Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, if you don't let a big man like Valuev get set, he's going to be off balance when he throws his punches. So Haye's got to make that work. But in order to do that, he's got to be extremely fit. I mean, it takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of conditioning, it takes strong legs to be able to do that. And that's without being hit by punches and without being put under pressure. So I think in this fight, more than any other fight in David Haye's career, he's got to be in an incredible condition.
Yeah, if you look at him, the condition he is in, he does look now like a proper heavyweight, doesn't he? You say he's come up for cruiserweight. I think he always thought he was a heavyweight in waiting, but he's naturally aggressive. He believes in his power. I noticed a survey in your magazine just recently that rated him the second best pound-for-pound puncher in world boxing. Do you sense he's got the power to go in there and put a dent in this guy, because no one else has?
Well, I'd say he's got as good a chance as any heavyweight in the world of putting a dent in Valuev. But
just like because Adam Booth is trained, just eavesdropping on this.
Adam Booth's monitoring my conversation as we speak. But the thing about Valuev, the facts are that he's never been put down, he's never been knocked out. So we don't know if that man can be hurt. But I certainly think Haye's going to test his chin. And if he can be hurt, I'm thinking Haye's the man who will be able to tell us.
Despite Valuev's Leviathan size, he is enormous, 23 stones. He hasn't had a knockout himself for 6 or 7 fights. Do you think his power perhaps is a little bit overrated, or in terms of David's own punch resistance, are there still 1 or 2 question marks there?
Yeah, I certainly think there's question marks about David Haye's punch resistance as a heavyweight. And with regards to Valuev's hitting power, I don't think he punches his weight. I mean, and that's a lot of weight to punch. If he did punch his weight, there's no one to be able to survive with the man. But nonetheless, relatively speaking, he's a heavy puncher. That's any man around 24, 25 stone throwing punches the weight of those blows is going to have an effect. So yeah, Valuev may not be the biggest puncher in the division. He may not hit for his size, but his punches will do damage. There's no question about it. And I remember speaking to many heavyweights over the years, and they've all said every punch hurts at heavyweight because you're dealing with big men.
Looking at the way David's sort of standing and throwing his shots, you can see that the upward angle of attack that he's got to adopt. You see he's there jabbing high, moving around. But that's tricky, isn't it? For the rest of his career, he's maybe been taller than most of the cruiserweights he's faced. A real adjustment he's had to make for this one. Tough.
Well, it is a tough adjustment, but one thing I'd say about David Haye in this fight is that he's always shown that he's better against men who are bigger than men who are shorter. It's the short guys like Jean-Marc Mormec and Lolenga Mok, who both had him down. They were short, small guys, relatively speaking, and he's knocked out big guys like Alexander Gurov. He knocked him out in the first round. So history tells us that Haye's pretty good against bigger guys, but he's never fought a guy this big. That's a huge undertaking to fight a man of 7 foot.
What's your gut feeling in a word then, finally, Claude?
Well, you know, my gut feeling is that at the moment I'm leaning towards Valuev. I can make a stronger case for Valuev winning this fight. I think Haye's got a lot of questions to answer, and he's got a lot of work to do. And I think it's a massive ordeal for him, and if he wins, he deserves all the plaudits for it, because I think it would be a pretty sensational victory.
Thanks very much, Claude. We'll just leave you with images of David Haye in the centre of the ring, swinging that left hook. That's what he hopes to be doing in Nuremberg on November the 7th. Can he punch his way to the world heavyweight title? It's going to be fascinating seeing if he can.
Thank you very much indeed. And don't forget, you can watch the fight. It's on Sky Box Office, Haye against Valuev, November the 7th, which is Saturday week. And that will be on Sky Box Office, as I say.